welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely. Always ready to explore.
All right, excellent. So today we're going to be looking at immigrant families in the West.
Okay, sounds interesting.
Yeah, should be really fascinating. We're going to be focusing on their relationships,
Oh, relationships, always complex.
especially in the context of navigating a brand new culture, right?
Yeah.
Trying to hold on to your traditions.
Right. Yeah, that balancing act between the old and the new.
Exactly, and all the emotions that come with that. We have this excerpt from an article called The Journey of Love and Distance in the West.
The Journey of Love and Distance in the West. Okay.
Yeah, by Michael Araya Etbarek.
Yeah.
He does a fantastic job, I think, of capturing that tension, that pull between kind of keeping your roots
Yeah.
and, embracing this new life. So I'm curious to get your take on this, especially the question of how these families, manage to find that balance.
It's tough, right? You're straddling two worlds.
Yeah. And how does that impact the relationships within the family?
Well, I think Epworth does a really great job in the article of highlighting
Yeah.
the contrasting experiences. You have immigrant parents who've come and found like success in the West,
Mm-hmm.
built a comfortable life, and then you have those who've really struggled.
Right.
And those experiences, I think, really shape how they view their children growing up, becoming more distant.
Absolutely. Yeah. The whole perspective shifts depending on their own journey.
Exactly.
It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of experience for sure.
No, not at all.
One thing that really struck me as I was reading this article was the author uses this phrase, bittersweet ache,
Oh, yeah, that's powerful.
to describe the parents' feelings.
It is. It really sums it up, doesn't it?
What do you think he's trying to convey there?
It's that mix of pride and longing, I think. Like, they've sacrificed so much to give their kids a better life, a life full of opportunities.
All right, yeah.
And they see their children thriving,
Hmm.
which is amazing. But there's also this sense of, like, loss, right?
Yeah.
Because, as their children achieve more, they sort of move into different spaces.
Like they're becoming, independent,
Exactly.
which is the goal.
Yeah.
But then that creates a distance that maybe wasn't there before.
They become more than just the man who provided or the woman who provided,
Right.
but maybe a little less connected to their children's world.
It's almost ironic in a way
Yeah.
that like the success that they strived for is actually what's creating this distance.
It is. It ties into what sociologists call intergenerational mobility, right?
Right. Explain that. What is that?
So it's this idea that children are achieving a higher social or economic status than their parents,
Okay.
which is, a positive thing overall, but it can create these growing pains, especially in immigrant families,
I see.
where traditional values might clash with, like, the individualistic Western culture.
Yeah, it's like two different sets of expectations colliding. And how does that play out for the kids, for the children of immigrants?
Well, the article really emphasizes that feeling of being caught between two worlds.
Right. That really stood out to me too.
It did.
It's a really powerful image. Like what are some of the specific challenges that they're facing?
Things like dating and marriage
Oh, yeah.
become really big points of tension.
Right, because there's the parents' expectations, which might be more traditional.
Exactly, yeah.
And then there's the kind of the more liberal dating culture that they're exposed
Yeah.
to.
So they're trying to, honor their heritage,
Yeah.
but also integrate into this new culture.
A lot to handle.
It is. It's like they're constantly trying to juggle two sets of rules that don't always mesh.
Yeah. Trying to find their place, their own identity, and all of that.
Exactly. And that's really what acculturation is all about.
Acculturation.
Yeah, it's that process of adapting to a new culture while still holding on to those core pieces of your original culture.
It's a lifelong process, isn't it?
It is. And it's constantly evolving. There's no easy answer, no one-size-fits-all approach.
So where do these families find hope?
Well, that's what I appreciate about Eparek's article. He doesn't just dwell on the difficulties.
Right. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
There is.
Yeah.
He highlights those small but really powerful moments of connection.
Okay, like what kind of moments?
Sharing traditional recipes, for example.
Oh, yeah. The food always brings people together.
It does. It's like a shared language.
Yeah.
Family visits, even just sitting around and reminiscing about the old country.
Yeah, those shared memories.
Exactly. These seemingly simple things become really powerful reminders of shared history, shared love.
It's like they're creating new traditions while honoring the old ones.
Absolutely.
And those moments, those connections, they act as anchors,
Yeah, I like that, anchors.
keeping them connected even when there's, a lot of distance between them.
Distance doesn't have to mean disconnection, right?
Exactly.
Those rituals, those shared experiences, they're like the threads that weave the fabric of family,
Beautiful.
even when it's stretched thin across cultures and
Yeah.
distances.
I love that analogy. It really paints a vivid picture.
It does, doesn't it?
So I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have a lot to think about.
Definitely. We've explored the complex emotions, the cultural clashes, and ultimately the enduring strength of family ties within immigrant communities.
Really fascinating stuff.
Yeah, definitely eye-opening. I think one thing to leave our listeners with is, as you reflect on your own family relationships, think about how cultural shifts, or maybe even just personal journeys, have shaped your connections with those closest to you. It's a question worth pondering, especially in today's ever-changing world. And with that, we'll wrap up our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It was a great conversation.
Absolutely. Until next time.
See you then.